This is how I set up my investigation in the earliest stages of reporting, skip tracing, etc. for those wanting to get in and do your own investigations. I'm choosing the West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey for no reason. I always start in the middle of the page and rework until I organize it into a way that my brain prefers or that I think other people will understand. I start by listing the biggest political action committee contributors that I know. And then I need to find the address and the name of the treasurers because it is they who control the expenditures to what are always media companies. And with a name and address, I can find all other accounts associated. I then start over in a more organized chart set up later. So only two of the organizations had a treasurer I could easily find. One of them was Charles Gant of Black Bear PAC and Adam Rozanski from Club Growth. And so of course, after running those names and addresses, I find out that Gant is the treasurer of at least 17 political action committees. Each will be investigated thoroughly, independently. But for now, I'm looking for what media company may be benefiting because that's the general money line. They put money into a political action committee and then divert it to a private company they are generally associated with. But I'm also checking for any MURs, that is matters under review, for any cases of campaign finance violations, and specifically if we can find a straw donor scheme by which a dark corporation in Delaware was funneling money to one of these political action committees. And if we're lucky through court documents, we could find what people are behind that very specific anonymous dark money Delaware corporation. In the case of Charles Gant, recall the address. It was with care of Bulldog Compliance. I looked that up and learned it's a subsidiary of Red Curve, which you guessed it is at the same address as Charles Gant, and he runs it. After finally mapping out every single political action committee that Gant was the treasurer of, this is when I begin to search their names as well as his for any MURs, any of those campaign finance violations or complaints. We find too with Make America Great Again, as well as 34NZZ Inc. This was a cryptic political action committee that supported Herschel Walker. We get the MER number 8002. And then, of course, we're going to go check that out. And we find out that there was an actual straw donor donation. And it came from Thread Standard LLC, a corporation trust. And you guessed it, it is at 1209 Orange Street, Wilmington, Delaware, like all of the dark money groups are. In the original court complaint, we don't get a name of who is associated with it, but if we dig deep enough into court documents, it only takes a couple of minutes. We find out that Stuart Miller is behind the Thread Standard LLC in Delaware, which gives us a whole extra avenue to investigate. Every single one of these lines is important, and you can go deeper and deeper. But we're going to reorganize it again in the same RICO-style way that I did before. Patrick Morrisey in the middle, all of the political action committees. And again, guys, this is just a start, but something else I like to do is color code things like who are the people, who are the enterprises, what are the accounts, because of course at the bottom we're going to have campaign and associates, and then you can get here. So you see how I color coordinated certain elements of my ultimate flowchart? If you're fortunate enough to have a printer, you can print things out if it helps you to color coordinate. Everything I do is handwritten notes because those are just the terms I think in. Your flowcharts aren't going to necessarily look like mine because you're going to think differently. You're going to go down different rabbit holes. But I hope that this helps people get started. And if you do get started and hit roadblocks, let me know and I'll help you. But another reason I wanted to bring up these folders is because it obviously helps if there is an orange card at the bottom of my video to get my message out. But also, if your kids go to a school like my kids do, we are mandated to buy a different folder in each color, and I have a pack of 7 folders for only $6 in my showcase right now. I do believe that's a flash sale, so I'm not lying if the price goes up. But if you don't want to go through the hassle of making sure every folder matches because you're insane like me and everything has to be the same, and you don't like paper folders because you know your kids will destroy them, go ahead and add that to the cart. And don't worry if you're not interested in buying that, but you want to support my content. My showcase is full of school supplies. I even added calculators, the type you need, like the Texas Instrument graphing ones that are a little bit more expensive. But I also went through TikTok Shop and made sure to add dupes because those are insanely expensive.